It's definitely a factor behind her. And then her music is hella dope. Her music is centered around confidence.
Blood, y'all, appreciate you. All right, what's going on? All right, just a quick one, man. I just wanted to talk about a few things that's been on my mind. What the hell's so funny, Felicia? You on the live. Okay, I got a new phone, so as you can see, it's looking good over here. It's looking really good. But listen, I wanted to talk to y'all about something, just a quick health tips that I just posted. And these are some important things because I'm working on a few things. You know, everything I do is solution-based, so I'm just not presenting you problems without giving you the solution at the same time. One thing I want to quickly just express over, man, I want to talk about the situation that I see, the constant bullying of black women that express themselves. And it has to be addressed and understood that, you know, all of this in-house fighting on social media and things of that nature definitely has to cease and clear out. One of the things that I see that for some reason is bothering me is the constant berating and bullying of the good sister Lizzo. And I know when you make yourself a star, you make yourself a target at the same time. The way that you reach people is that you teach people. You know what I mean? You don't bully people into change. That's not the way that it works. That's not real proper change. You know what I mean? And so when I hear people constantly bullying the sister, which I don't know her, and I don't really, agree with her antics and things of that nature. And y'all know I don't agree with obesity. But at the same time, that's just not how you educate people and get them to change. You teach them on why obesity is wrong. The way you combat obesity is through knowledge, because most of it is done through ignorance. A person can't argue with truth. So you would teach a person about how, chronic illnesses come from that, and overeating and sugar and inflammation and the itises that come along with obesity, cancer, diabetes, all of those different things. That's what you're supposed to do when you want to teach somebody about obesity, is that you educate them, not bully them. You understand? You don't bully somebody into being a better person. That only drives a person to go do something like overeating even more. And even if they do get skinny from bullying, they won't be healthy in a mental state. So, yeah, self-love is very important regardless of what size you are, I definitely don't think we should try to shame people, but I think we should enlighten people. And when you enlighten the masses, it starts to force and produce a change. So that's the goal that we should get anytime when we have our hearts set in the right place. But social media rewards bullying, aggressiveness, blunt truth. And it gets you into the algorithm, and so people like the likes. That's what it is. People like the likes. And I just don't agree with it. You know what I'm talking about? Because if I had a mother, a sister, anybody that's overweight, in my family, and you bullying her, you getting at there like that, on my mama's, I'll slap you. You feel me? So I just think that, you can always educate a person without targeting them in that particular matter. And we as grown black men and women have to be smart about these situations, because that's how a lot of people got into overeating in the first place, through bullying. And to be 100% honest, most of us aren't healthy. Most of us are eating chemicals on a daily, because you can be at your proper weight and still be completely unhealthy, because all the chemicals in your body causing all this inflammation, causing all your back problems, causing your joints to inflame, causing you to have cancer and arthritis and all kind of different issues that happen, brain fog, you know what I'm talking about? So your stress, anxiety, and depression are all linked to all of these different things. So it's not just the physical health, it's the mental health aspect that goes into it. You know what I mean? So I think that we just have to be more responsible in the way that we utilize our knowledge and our influence and our platforms. You know what I mean? And when we think, and I'm starting to take ownership of my own approach and making sure that I'm doing it with and from the best place. You know what I'm talking about? And that's just the most important thing. So yeah, man, I wanted to talk to y'all about that, because if anybody's struggling with weight, anybody's struggling with discipline and getting their habits correct, and most of it, like I said, is a lack of knowledge. I'm sure this good sister Lizzo is not completely up on game when it comes to all of the health knowledge and information and what's going on in her body and inflammation and things of that nature that be happening. I'm sure she's not, because if you were, it should force you to make different decisions. So we should flood social media with education to enlighten our people, not bullying and aggressiveness to shame our people. You know what I'm talking about? So now that I got that out the way, man, I wanted to get to this point. Overweight, but it's healthy. It's not. Nah, there's no such thing as being overweight and healthy. That's the whole point, that you overweight. So I'm not going to get into that argument with you that people are healthy and overweight. No, you decrease your lifespan by putting stress on your bones and your body when you're overweight. So we're not getting into that conversation. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're talking about people that's not living long. When you see those old people, they are what? They small. You don't see, have you ever seen a 90-year-old big person? Big, 90s. Nope, it don't happen. So I just wanted to make people responsible, that educate people about health. Don't try to bully people into health. You know what I'm talking about? It just don't work. So I get tired of seeing niggas that claim to be conscious or whatever it is. And there's a point in time when my ignorance may have been guilty of that. You know what I'm talking about? But like I say, you educate people. You don't bully people into health. That's counterproductive in the first place. Because I'd rather a person be mentally healthy than, in the physical weight to what society likes them, but then they depressed, they got anxiety. You understand me? They ready to commit suicide. You know what I'm talking about? So we got to just be careful of how we approach our people and the empathy levels that we have for our people, especially when we publicly shaming our people. You know what I'm talking about? And at the same time, how we distracted on so many different things when there's so many bigger things going on, no pun intended, than our weight. You know what I'm talking about? We should definitely be focused on taking ownership of our health. You know what I mean? Getting rid of diabetes and cancer and high blood pressure. You know what I mean? And all of these other different things that constantly run in our family. We have to take ownership over that. That's why you see me with the health products. I want to educate the people with the health products. Take the sea moss. Tell that sister that she needs to be on the sea moss. Tell that sister she needs to be tapping into some gold water or something. You know what I mean? Giving them correct knowledge. And when you feed people with the correct knowledge, it starts to influence their decision-making and start to do better things. You know what I'm talking about? Like telling a person to just go vegan don't even mean shit, because everybody going vegan, but you eating all these vegan junk foods. You know what I'm talking about? And that's not nutritionist to your body. So you can have a small frame and an unhealthy body. So it's the education, because even these people that think they vegan, they are unhealthy as hell because they eating all of this soy. You know what I'm talking about? And then you already know what soy feminizes the man, produces estrogen, you know what I mean? High blood pressure, infertility, and things of that nature. So a lot of y'all out here completely doing the wrong thing, and you're over-chemicalized and under-mineralized, and you don't even realize. So, you know what I mean? Let's go over a few wealth tips, and then I'm going to get out of here. I'm in L.A. right now. If anybody want to pull up to me in my office in L.A., the hours will be from 3 to 5. You know what I'm talking about? You can come and get crowned, and you can pick up a key, and you can do a quick meet and greet. You know what I'm talking about? And I appreciate y'all for tapping in. All right, so what we're going to start here is, like I said, we have to increase the amount of sun that we get. Sun is good for your pineal gland. Your pineal gland is good for sending information to the suprachiasmatic. I forgot, I always mess up that word. But it's good for your eyes to receive light information, turning that lead that builds up in your brain and transforming that. So receiving light gives you the vitamin D. It's going to, increase your overall well-being and energy levels. Getting off social media. 63% of people that utilize social media report that they're unhappy while they're on social media, because it's a constant compare battle that's going on in here. It promotes anxiety. It promotes stress. So getting off social media and stopping the amount of screen time that you utilize throughout the day promotes better health practices. And the counterbalance to that is actually getting into nature. These niggas is loud in the background, trying to get slapped up while I'm doing my presentation. You know what I'm talking about? No, it's all good, bro. It's all good, man. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. All right. For men and women, semen retention is good for good health, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to go into all of that. Getting more sleep, sleeping at the optimum hours that's connected to your circadian rhythm is good. And the podcast that I did with the neuroscientists, we talked about how sleep between going to sleep at like 10 is those optimum hours for your brain to be performing on itself. so that they can help out that hippocampus area of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, your hypothalamus, all of that, so that your brain performs when you wake up and you have a higher intellectual capacity. You know what I mean? And your brain is just wired, you increase your intelligence. But also getting proper sleep, that what they call nine eye rhythm sleep, rapid eye sleep, decreases anxiety. Anxiety is connected to stress. Stress is connected to depression. When people are depressed, they're less creative. Their immune system is depressed, which means that it's in a weakened state. So, all of these things are also connected. Taking products that have anti-inflammatory properties that promote good brain health and body function, all of those are good, like, sea moss, bladderwhack, and a bunch of other myriad of different things. But I just want to throw this into your day because you might not get any healthy tips for the day. So I thought I'd just go ahead and give you some because, you're going to walk outside and everything will still promote you to eat all negative shit. So eating food that has nutrients in it and minerals in it is going to promote good brain health and, remineralize your cells. A lot of times we eat foods that have chemicals in it. We don't know what the chemicals do to our body. Everybody is different. And there are certain parts of your body that can be allergic or have a reaction to particular foods that you eat, certain organs in your body. So you can have a chemical reaction and not even know it. And the way that you eating and overeating of sugar and things of that nature can actually be connected to the depression that you have. So, these are all important. Changing the type of people that you're around. If you're depressed and, you hang around the same people every day, they might be connected to your depression. You might need to change environments. That's all I'm saying. All right, so let's see. Meditation. Meditation is very, very important to properly realigning your left hemisphere and your right hemisphere of your brain. Both of these are very important to be able to take control of yourself so you can live in a moment and not be re-triggered by depressive thoughts, because that's what ended up happening. You have depressive thoughts and you constantly re-triggered and you constantly live in that moment, so you can't move past that emotion. A mood is one long reaction to a thought. So when you're stuck on a thought, then you can't move forward. So you're stuck in a depression because you can't express it and allow that to get off of you. So if I'm angry and I express that through a fight, then I allow that anger to get off of me. But if you have a thought of something that triggers you through a trauma or something, then you become depressed because you're constantly re-looping that thought. So it re-loops that mood and it depresses your body because it doesn't have a way to express it. All right, be blessed. So it suppresses it in pockets of your body, and it shows up in many different ways. So yeah. So I just wanted to throw those tips because I know that we suffer from, and I'm going to give you just these other keys, and y'all can write these down if you want to. We suffer from stress, anxiety, depression, and suicide levels are at an all-time high. And I know that this generation that was born with just social media have it the worst because this is the only reality that they know. So here is 13 keys that you can take and write down if you want to. Focus on self, not others, to master self. Divert efforts to your needs. Life is based upon your perception and opinions, so learn to see it positively. Do less, trim the bullshit, bad thoughts, emotions. Do more often. Number 4, imagine your death. Know it's always a second away. Death reminds us to live life properly. Number 5, tap into your extra 100%. You have more because you are stronger and more powerful. You know that time where, a lot of times we have a give up. We have a point where we break, but we always have more, and we usually not giving 100%. And if you ask yourself right now, am I giving 100% at what I'm doing in life? And if you're being truthful, then of course the answer is going to be no, and you know it. So focus on giving 100%. Hone and focus on the development of your skills. Ask your friends, family, peers, what are your gifts? Learn to interview others about you. This is extremely important. You can learn so much about yourself through others because that's what you're feeding off of others. Number 7, never complain, just execute. Complaints are prayers to the devil. You know what I mean? Execution are gifts to God. You know what I'm talking about? So instead of complaining, anytime you catch yourself complaining, replace that with a work ethic. Replace that with an activity that you could be doing in order to increase your productivity. You are where you work to be. You have to look at your current reality And you have to take extreme ownership over where you are and realize that you worked yourself into this position. We can work ourselves into negative positions, or we can do lack of work that leads us to where we are. But just remember that wherever you are, you worked yourself into that position. Help others, then forget. Oftentimes we help others for the wrong intentions, and when we helping others, we hold on to it and we can't wait for that person to do something back for us. That holding on to it leaves you with a debt to yourself. Help others, then forget. Do it for the right reasons. Don't do it so they goddamn owe you something. Do it because you're a good person. It's a part of your character. It's a part of your spirit. It's a part of your heart. Number 10, be grateful. Let me see. Be grateful for it and work for will be. I don't know. Let me skip that one. Number 11, don't chase a dream, become it. Y'all already know my motto. We don't chase things. We become the things that become chased. You know what I mean? We don't run for things. They attract us. And you attract more things by adding more value onto self. One quick way of adding value onto self is increasing your knowledge, your skill, and your know-how. That easily makes people and things need you. Number 12, add value to self through obtaining knowledge of self. You know what I mean? Studying self. Everything should be based on the study of self. I'm not reading a book to study the world. I'm reading a book to study the world within, so I know how I'm perceiving the world outward and how I'm projecting my outward world. Everything should be about knowledge of self. If you a man and woman don't have knowledge of self and don't understand self, then you shouldn't get in a relationship. You should just constantly build and foster that relationship with self until you know thyself, and then you can start building upon relationships with others. Number 13, and this is probably one of the most important keys. You are a God, never forget, always embody it. You are a God. I can prove you are a God. You're a God because you have a mind, right? The body makes you a human, right? But the mind makes you a God. So the fact that you have a mind that can imagine makes you a God, because anything in your mind, you can conjure up an entire world, an entire universe. Only God has that ability. So therefore, you are connected to the one mind in the universe, which makes you a God. The brain don't make you a God. The body, the heart, the spleen, the liver, no. It is your mind that you have that makes you a God, because the fourth dimension is just as real as the third. The third, when we touch tangible things like this, they made up of carbon and atoms, and that's what we call reality. But the intangible experience is just as real. So if you can imagine something in your own mind, then you're a God creating things. And oftentimes we can take this God ability that we have to think and take these thoughts and produce them into carbon and reality. And so you can't tell me that that is not a feature of God. That is not a characteristic of God. So that is your proof that you're a God. The fact that you have a mind. Let me see, man. I might give y'all a couple of more. I'm just reading these out my notes. So make sure y'all get my book as well. If you appreciate this live and any other live that I've done, any the other thing that I've done, man. Give me 1 second. Y'all should be sending this out to friends and family and constantly putting positivity in their life. Number 14, every level of consciousness comes with a new language. A rich man doesn't speak the same language as a poor man because his ability to express himself is higher. Update your language to the person that you want to be. Think about that. Update your language to the person that you want to be. So in your future self, let's say you have more money, you in better relationship, things of that nature. The rhythm of your word pattern changes, your language and your expression changes. You know what I'm talking about? A poor man doesn't speak the same language as a rich man, and rich man don't speak the same language as a wealthy man. So what do you need to learn, and how you need to start expressing yourself in order to become the person that you want to be? Procrastination is the abortion clinic of ideas. Giving birth to new ideas is hard. Most people want to avoid the pain, so they quit instead of going through the labor. Right now, we're in the first month of the year, and 9 months from now is going to be coming up on Labor Day. Labor Day meaning that everything that you did from the 1 through 9, you're going to be giving birth to. It takes 9 months to start a baby. When you want to gold, the ancient Egyptians used to say that, you drink the gold for 9 months, and after those 9 months, you become a god. You have to revitalize your body and give birth to a new self. Once you have an idea, your mind is in there ready to procreate. You know what I'm talking about? And so either we procreate or procrastinate. Procreation is the production of life. Procrastination is the abortion of life, because we can give life to our ideas. Review the past, don't live in it. Don't live in it. Living in the past makes one depressed. Constant reliving old moments, often a trauma. Be present. It's the only place that exists. What is that? Number 18. Develop your own philosophy towards life. Learn from others, but put it in your own words. This makes the philosophy yours. Don't live just by quotes. Interpret them for your own understandings. That's very important. You know what I mean? Oftentimes we listen to others, but we don't gather our own thoughts on our thinking, so we don't originate that thinking into our own pattern, which allows us to truly absorb it, and it becomes knowledge. So, learn to take philosophies, listens, but make sure you put them in your own words. That's something that I practice when I learn anything from others, and I think I understand it, but I don't truly. So I stop to see, okay, how would I say it? That way it makes it mine, and it also enters into my long-term thinking. Number 19. Let's see which one I want to do. All right, I like this one. Number 19 is I do this one. Take extreme ownership of your life. Ownership of slaveship. You must board one. Anything you don't own, you're a slave to. Now, we should all understand that. You also have to understand it in the rhythm that when I'm talking about ownership, taking extreme ownership, I'm not just talking about physical, tangible assets that we can obtain. I'm talking about mental, spiritual assets. I'm talking about anything that happens in my life, it was my fault. You understand me? And I have the ability to change anything that happens to me. If I got into a bad relationship, then it was something that I should have seen, foreseen, and should have done correctly. I have to take ownership of that. It's not the other person's fault. You understand me? If I get robbed, I lose money, I make a bad investment, whatever it is, we have to take ownership of our life. You get cancer, diabetes, you eating GMOs, chemicals in our food, you allowing yourself to continuously brush your teeth with fluoride, and vaccinate yourself. We take extreme ownership. The way you take ownership is through educating yourself and enlightening yourself. You understand me? So nothing happens to you. It all happens because of you. Take extreme ownership of your life. And as a diaspora, this is probably one of the most important things, that we need to take ownership of our health. We need to take ownership of our security. We need to take ownership of our media, our education. We need to take ownership of our data, which is breaching and allowing other people to manipulate us, utilizing our data and creating algorithms against us. We need to take ownership of all of these different things. And we no longer have the capacity to be able to blame the white man, because now we've been educated and enlightened on the things that happen. Everybody is not at the same level of consciousness, but you have to take ownership of producing that level of consciousness within your life. You have to take ownership of knowing when you eat a food, what chemicals in it, what it does to your body. You can take ownership of doing different tests to know what you're allergic to, what you're immune to, and things of that nature. You can do all of these different things, taking extreme ownership over your life so you can have the best one possible. You know what I'm talking about? So there y'all go, man. Those are some 19 keys right there that y'all can utilize for your life. Some great wealthy tips that you can utilize. And I hope that you got something great out of this. If you enjoyed these tips and more, I'm coming out with an app soon. Make sure when you shop anything on my website that you leave your email so I can send everybody get the first links to the app, man. I appreciate y'all tapping in. As you know, I appreciate you, brother. You know I got the hottest live, on Instagram. You know what I'm talking about? But at any time, they can take me off this thing. So that's why I'm creating my app, to make sure that we stay connected and we still have that communication. You know what I mean? I'm taking ownership over that and producing our own platform. So I'm working on it. Hopefully the app guy gets everything done, because I hate announcing things that don't come to fruition. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, appreciate y'all. Peace.